make this noise while we record.
Oh, you mean that noise?
What noise?
That
this noise? Hello and welcome to Negative Space, a podcast where two art students talk about movies.
Yeah.
And this week we're gonna change the pace and talk about art. How are you doing?
I'm a little sleepy, but
That's to be expected.
yeah. That's just kind of me most of the time, so it's not that big of a difference.
I just got back from Irvine,
Yeah.
so I'm sweaty. I haven't changed. I was just
and
putting a
Irvine
bunch of
makes you
stuff back in
sweaty.
the closet. Well, it was like super sunny, and my car's interior is black, so I was just sweating all the way back
That's
in the
not
car.
fun.
It's no fun. And I got home to like a bunch of packages because I ordered a bunch of stuff online and then like forgot about it. And then
Dude, nice.
that's the best when you forget that you ordered something and it's like a nice surprise.
Yeah.
I got this kind of like super cute tiny knife that's like an inch. It's like a circular little disc that folds out into a knife. It's cute. I'll
I
send
think
you
I've seen this
pictures.
before. Also, earlier, while you were like doing your stuff, you were like talking to Lindsay, and I heard you talking about your knife.
Yeah. I'm really excited.
I know. I noticed.
And I also got back to my brand new second Wacom wireless accessory pack because, like a dumb person, I lost the little USB dongle that goes to my Wacom, the wireless adapter that came with it. And I lost just the little dongle. So the wireless set is 3 things. It's a battery, a receiver that goes in the tablet, and the little dongle that goes in the computer. And I lost just the dongle, which means that the other 2 parts are just useless.
Yeah.
So I just have to buy a complete new thing. So I've been living without it for like a couple months now, and I just finally decided that it's not worth it to hassle with it. I just bought a new one.
I just use the cable all the time because I'm lazy.
Yeah.
It's just like too much work to think about like how to portion out my USB slots. So I just leave that one like for not that.
Yeah, if I was only working on my laptop, I think I'd probably be fine with it. But because now I have the PC, and now it means I gotta like route the cable around my desk and like underneath, and then like plug it into the computer. It's like, and it like runs the opposite direction. You know how the cable is like has a 90-degree angle on the front?
Yeah, it's horrible.
And yeah, it goes the opposite direction for me because of how my desk is set up. So I just decided that I'm just gonna leave the dongle in my PC, and if I have to use it with my laptop, I'll just bring the cable, and that's just it.
Yeah.
No more hassling. And that way I won't lose the dongle.
Yeah, that works.
That's my New Year's resolution. Don't lose the dongle again.
Don't lose the dongle. Good one. Should put that on a t-shirt.
What a very specific reference. But anyone who's lost their like mouse dongle will understand.
Yeah.
I bet there's a name for it. We're just calling it a dongle, but I bet there's a real name for it.
Hold on, everyone calls it. Let me Google USB dongle to see if...
It's like a receiver is the proper name. But you know what I mean, right? Like I was trying to explain to people when I was looking for it what it was, and I was like, it's a USB dongle. And I was talking to the guy at the security desk like to see if I had left it at school somewhere, and I was like, it's like a dongle. It's just like the USB with a little black flat end on the back. And he was like, looked at me like I was a crazy person because I kept saying dongle.
Okay, I'm looking at the Wikipedia page for dongle. And
Okay.
It says a dongle is a small piece of hardware that connects to another device to provide it with additional functionality. In computing, the term is primarily associated with hardware providing copy protection mechanism for proprietary software. Okay. So, but I don't see any other words for it.
Well, I mean, that's exactly what it is, though. It's a device that provides additional functionality.
Yeah, so... But I thought that maybe it would have, like, another term for what a dongle is actually supposed to be called, but it just says dongle.
Related terms? No. Nothing. Alright, well, I'll take that. Take it as a win.
Yeah.
Yeah. Our planned topic today is not USB dongles.
No, although that would be a fascinating episode.
I'm sure everyone would be delighted.
Us talking about dongles for a good hour.
Yeah. Is there even an hour's worth of content about dongles?
Dude, you don't even... There are so many tangents we could go on about dongles.
I'd like to see you try, honestly. But not today.
Yeah, not today.
Today our topic is actually our favorite artists throughout our lifetime so far. We've put together a list of our favorite artists starting from elementary school and coming all the way up to now, and we're gonna compare our lists and see how they size up against each other.
Yeah. I wonder if we're going to know any of the artists on each other's lists, to be honest.
Honestly, I do wonder. So we've portioned it out starting from elementary school, middle school, first half of high school, last half of high school, and then each of our so far 3 years of college. Okay, so let's start with elementary school. Do you want to go first?
Sure. The sort of artists that I liked in elementary school were mostly like children's illustrators, basically. Like, they would either work in, like, children's, like, chapter books, like, they'd provide, like, the illustrations inside, or, like, you know, more generally, like, picture books. So the first one that I have on my list is, there's this series of children's books by Disney that are about, like, the Disney fairies.
Wait,
right?
I think I read these.
Yeah, so...
Is it like Tinkerbell and, like, all the other ones that they live in Pixie Hollow?
Yeah,
and,
so
like...
that series in general, it's kind of just, like, whatever. It's kind of crappy. But there's this one, like, origin book, right? That's really beautifully illustrated, and it, like, looks fantastic, and it's all, like, done in watercolors and stuff.
I actually know this book.
Yeah. It's The Quest for the Egg, right? That one?
Yeah, and it's really large and kind of thick.
Yeah, that book is awesome. It's so beautiful.
I haven't read it in many, many years.
I
do
neither,
remember
but I still
enjoying
remember it. Yeah, so that was, like, I remember being really, like, I guess struck by how, like, beautiful those illustrations are, because they're so... Like, they all look so delicate and stuff, and they're just gorgeous. So I remember when I was a kid, I really liked those. I didn't try to draw them because I had no idea where to even start in elementary school. But I remember liking that a lot. Do you want to go one? Do you want to do one?
Sure. So what I wrote down also for elementary school also is a children's book illustrator. It's Quentin Blake. Do you know him?
Yeah.
He illustrated basically all of Roald Dahl's work. And I read so much Roald Dahl when I was a kid. So much. I got an entire collection almost a complete collection of his work donated to me by my cousin. And so I would just go through all of those. Some of the illustrations are black and white, or most of them are black and white, and some of them are in color, like watercolor. And when I was a kid, sometimes I would take colored pencils and I would color in some of the illustrations in the black and white books. I know. I feel... Well, it's
so cute, though. I can't, like...
Yeah.
When you hear about... Like, I can't be upset at that. Like, that's just super sweet. And I feel like...
yeah.
Especially, like, an artist like Quentin Blake would appreciate it, to be honest.
Yeah. I remember I once was trying to figure out how he drew, and I tried to draw this chicken in the style of Quentin Blake, and it actually looked super cute, and I drew it on like a tiny scrap of paper, and I posted it on my wall for like years.
That's so cute.
When I was a kid. Alright, who's next on your elementary school list?
Okay, I don't know if this is actually accurate, so I'm just gonna say by what I know this artist from. I really liked those Fablehaven books when I was a kid. And they had illustrations, like, in certain parts of the book, right, to help, like, enhance the experience.
They were illustrated? I don't remember
that. They were illustrated, dude.
Oh, man.
So I remember there were a couple that really stood out to me because they were just, like, really nicely drawn, or, you know, one thing that I really liked about the Fablehaven series, I guess, as a kid, was that it, like, freaked me out a little bit. Like, I was kind of scared of those books because some freaky stuff, like, happens in it, and, like, the illustrations can be kind of scary.
Yeah.
So, that was another one where I liked it a lot, and it just, like, had an impact.
I still can't believe that I forgot that they were illustrated. I owned those books.
Yeah, I'll send you some.
Dang. How did I just forget? Oh my god. Okay. Alright, my second elementary school artist was Linda Ravenscroft. Do you know her?
I have no idea who that is.
Okay, she's this illustrator who does, like, she, like, specifically does, like, fairies.
Oh, yeah.
And I had one of her books, which was, like, how to draw fairies book. And I had someone gave it to me as a gift. And so I, like, studied it, like, religiously.
That's
like,
so
I
cute.
drew all these, like, awful, like, pictures of fairies with, like, dragonfly wings and, like, butterflies and stuff. I actually, okay, I have some of these old drawings, so if you want, I can show them to you.
I want to see them.
And I'll also post them on the show notes because they're quite something. I mean, I was like, gosh, what age is that? Like 10, 12? So, all things considered, I suppose it's not too bad.
I don't have, like, any drawings from that era of my life anymore. Like, they all eventually ended up in the trash because my parents didn't save anything.
I definitely threw a lot of them away, but I also definitely kept some.
Yeah.
As mementos. Okay. Alright, you want to move on to middle school? This is gonna be good.
This is gonna be interesting now. In middle school, like, I was really into Harry Potter and stuff. So both of the artists that I have for my list on middle school were both people that I found either through Harry Potter or Percy Jackson, right? Like, I was just, like, online and, like, looking for this stuff. So my first one is McCanny, who, I don't know her real name, but she did a lot of Harry Potter fan art, like, way back in, like, early, not even early, maybe, like, mid-2000s, like, OOs. That's when she was, like, working on her blog and, like, uploading stuff. So that's one. And you know what's awesome is that she now works for Valve.
That's awesome.
Like, I'm not sure if she, like, actually is an employee or if she just has done a ton of contract work, but she does, like, a ton of, like, illustrations for them, and I think, I'm not sure about now, but she's done, like, a lot of work on the comics. Like, I think she's done the at least the boarding, I'm not sure about the coloring and stuff, and the cover illustrations for a couple of their Team Fortress comics. So it's pretty cool.
That's great. That's great when, this is the wrong way to put it, but it's great when they're still alive. You know what I mean?
Yeah, no, I know what you mean.
Not, like, in the literal sense, but in the sense that, like, some of these artists you followed when you were, like, 12 and 13, like, you look them up now, and it's like their account hasn't updated since then. And you're like, are they just dead?
Yeah, they just, like,
I don't
stopped
know,
posting.
maybe.
Yeah. So I remember I really liked this artist that I found on, like, some Harry Potter fan site. Like, it was, like, a fan site that had, like, a bunch of, like, fan fictions and, like, fan art compiled on it. But I the reason why I was, like, there's, like, a ton of other artists on there, but the reason why her art caught my eye is because, like, it was really expressive, and it also was in, like, a westernized, like, cartoon style, which I hadn't really seen before. Like, a lot of the other stuff was, like, kind of anime-ish, and I was like, you know, oh, it looks nice, but this really caught my eye, which is why I was drawn to it. Go ahead.
Okay, I'll do the less embarrassing one first, and then I'll do the next embarrassing one. So, one of the artists that I really liked in middle school was Tony DiDolisi. I still really like him a lot, and it's, like, the longer I go, the more I find out about his work, and it's pretty funny. I knew him because he illustrated the Spiderwick Chronicles.
Cool.
Yeah, and he also wrote the Search for Wandla. He wrote and illustrated Search for Wandla, which I love still. But I also recently found out that he was, like, one of the OG, like, kind of fantasy illustrators from, like, the D&D era.
Oh, that's so cool.
So he did a lot of the original D&D illustrations, as well as a lot of old Magic cards.
Oh, that's awesome.
So yeah, his work is amazing. And then, sorry, I'll just go on to my next one, and then we'll do yours because it bleeds into my high school one. Christ. Okay, so I was a huge fan of this artist named Jessica Pfeffer, who goes by the handle Neon Dragon.
Go on.
She had this book called, like, How to Draw Dragons or something like this. And, I was so obsessed with this artist. I was so obsessed with this book because at the time I also read Aragon for the first time.
Oh my God.
And I was just completely obsessed with, like, dragons and, like, dragon riders and, like, all that.
You're so cute.
The worst part is some of this legacy, like, survives because I was in middle school, of course, and so I made my email address dragonlover_Samantha.
Yes!
And still, once in a while, I have to go hunt down, like, stupid emails that get sent to that email address. Or, like, I used to make it my, like, my handle, my user handle when I was making accounts. And so sometimes, every once in a while, I'll dig up an old account that still has that as the username, which is really awful because I had my Quizlet account set to that username, and I had to I was sharing something with a friend, and he was like, what is this username? And I'm like, listen, don't worry about it. Oh god, I have an even worse story about it. Because I had made this my email address, and I didn't make another email address that was, like, a proper one until after middle school, like in the beginning of high school, or, like, mid-high school. I was in the Red Cross, and I was part of this executive board, and this reporter from the San Jose News, the Mercury News, he wanted to interview me for, like, some stuff related to earthquakes, and they gave him, the Red Cross gave him that email address, and we had this, like, nice interview that was, like, about, like, earthquake preparedness and safety, and by the very end, he's like, so, what's up with this username on your email? And I'm like, listen, I made it in middle school. Just don't worry about it.
You know, I still, whenever I try to send you an email, it just autofills to that one still.
Can you just...
No, I'm keeping it forever.
Never speak to me again.
Like, I am not removing that from my contacts. You are always going to be that.
So cringy.
No, it's really cute. Come on. It's so cute.
Yeah, I used to, like, write a ton of, like, just, like, dragon rider related, like, novels that I was, like, 100% convinced would get published.
I love you so much.
Just a baby. Yeah. I was like, oh my god, this is, like, totally not a ripoff of Aragon. It's different because so-and-so and so-and-so.
It's like, you know, it's like a, it's like OCs in the Aragon universe. That's what that is.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. But it's, like, not Aragon, because, like, she's a girl, and also, like, this thing, like, instead of, like, doing this to become a dragon rider, you have to, like, train and stuff.
God. That's really good.
Anyway, that's the middle school recap. Can we move on?
No, we can't. We have to stay here forever. No, for me, my other middle school, the artist that I really liked in middle school was, you know this one, by the way, Burge.
Mm-hmm.
I remember
the reason I told you to go is because one of that Burge is the artist on my list for the first half of high school, but continue.
Yeah, so middle school, I liked Burge a lot, who drew, like, lots of, like, Percy Jackson and, like, Harry Potter fan art. Mm-hmm. And usually she wouldn't, like, really upload, like, colored stuff, but it would be, like, all these, like, kind of nice pencil drawings.
Mm-hmm.
So I used to be a big fan of her, and looking back at her work now, I'm just kind of like, oh, it's okay.
It was really funny.
You know?
Yeah, so Burge was also my pick for first half of high school.
Yeah.
And it's really funny because I recently went back to look at her work for some reason or another,
Mm-hmm.
and I was actually kind of stunned by how different my perception is now.
Yeah.
Like, her work was like the pinnacle of everything that I wanted to draw when I was in, like, 9th grade. Like, I would, like, copy her drawings and, like, try and draw like that all the time. And I was like, oh no, like, I'll never be this good. But, like, now I, like, go to school with a ton of people who are way better than her.
Yeah.
Like, it's, like, disconcerting to see. And also because she, like, by the time we followed her, because you're the one who introduced me to her in the first half of high school, which is when we became friends.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it's all connected. I just, like, really, really wanted to draw like her. And by the time we had found her in high school, she had kind of already stopped posting, if I remember correctly. Like, she was already on the dropping off, like, on the tail end of posting her work online. Because she moved from DeviantArt to Tumblr, and then she stopped posting on Tumblr, and then kind of just hasn't really done anything since.
Yeah. I'm just looking at her DeviantArt page now. I'm just thinking about how I can color better than this. It's messing me up.
Yeah. I remember she would once in a while just post stuff that was just, like, a pencil drawing, and then with, like, just, like, flat kind of digital color underneath it. She kind of never painted. It was she just drew.
I think that these are colored pencil, actually.
Oh, yeah, I think some of them were colored pencil, yeah.
Yeah.
And, yeah, she had a kind of, like, close to a Disney style, you know, like, in terms of expression and proportion and stuff.
Yeah.
And, yeah, it's just really bizarre that, like, now, looking at her work, it's just, I just see it through a completely different light.
No, it's, like, completely different.
Yeah.
It's not, like, the way that I used to think it looked, or not the way that I used to think it looked, but the way that I felt about it was not the same at all. Like, I'm looking at this now, and I'm just like, oh my goodness gracious.
Like, I'm gonna be real, I still can't draw that well, but just, like, I definitely, like, I look up to people who are a completely different atmosphere of skill now, so it's just funny.
Yeah, I mean, I don't necessarily think I draw better, it's just I'm just thinking about how I appreciate my own art.
Yeah. And it's funny, because I've been working on my color and story homework, which is, we're doing King Arthur. So basically, I think I talked about it on the last podcast, just basically you design characters and then you have to do key scenes from the story, and boy, am I bad at drawing characters, my lord. I was scared of this class exactly because I knew that this was going to be a huge problem for me. It was, when I was younger, all I wanted to draw was, like, character art, and now it's like, that's like literally my worst, the thing that I'm the worst at. Anyways.
It's interesting how that works out. I focused on a lot of character, or I do still, I guess, focus on a lot of character art sort of stuff, and, I mean, it's, but to be fair, it's, like, the only thing that I bother drawing when I have free time, just because I like doing it so much.
That was the difference for me, was that, like, when I was drawing this kind of stuff when I was younger, like, it was always because I just wanted to get better at it, like, I just wanted to draw like Burge.
Yeah. And
it was never, like, not exactly a fun thing, so I never just, like, drew for fun. I never drew, like, characters for fun, just, it was always kind of, like, because I wanted to get better at it.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah. But
it was always something that I just, like, really, really liked doing, even if I thought that I was awful. I just thought it was, I just, like, I don't know, it just was good for my heart or something. Mm-hmm. I don't really know how to articulate, like, why I liked drawing people so much.
Yeah. I kind of just, like, never really got that vibe.
Yeah.
Like, it's kind of always just been, like, more about, like, working and improving. So, yeah. Oh, the other artist I wanted to bring up in relation to Burge was, Viria. Did you follow her?
I remember you'd, like, show me her drawings.
She was, like, someone who really enjoyed Burge's work and started drawing stuff that was really similar. And it was all Percy Jackson and Harry Potter until, like a year after I started following her, and then it became, like, all anime, and so I stopped following her.
I'm so sorry.
And I went back recently to look for her, too.
Uh-huh.
And it's been, like, 6 years, and her art hasn't changed at all, which is just really interesting to me. Like, to see how far I've come in 6 years, but some people kind of just are where they are. They just kind of stay where they are. I don't know. I mean, her art looks good, so.
Yeah. I mean, it's, like, you know, for what she's, like, trying to do, it's, like, perfectly, like, adequate. Mm-hmm. Like, she, like, doesn't have to, like, keep, like, pushing herself, I don't think, especially because I think she seems so happy with it. That's that kind of thing. What were we talking about? High school?
High school.
So, the first person that I want to bring up when it comes to, like, high school stuff is, this user that goes by I guess on Tumblr, they go by the username of Hours Ago. I don't know their real name, but I've met them in real life a couple times, because, we'd go...
Is that Blue?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, because it is Blue. Because we'd go to, like, the same convention, so I just, like, go to the convention and, like, you know, like, see her art and, like, buy some stuff from him, because I really liked her style. But, yeah, no, the reason why I followed this person is for their Supernatural fan art, but I remember the reason why I really, really liked them, like, from an artistic perspective, is, well, one, because, like, the motion and, like, their sketches and stuff, like, was really nice. Like, they just, like, had, like, nice lines of movement and, like, expressions and stuff in their art. Mm-hmm. And they're also, like, really good at lighting. Mm-hmm. So I liked that, too. And Hours Ago doesn't really draw so much work that's, like, realistic now, but back when they did draw, like, a lot of more realistic stuff, it was, like, just nice, you know? Mm-hmm. They've veered toward more, like, cartoony style in general when they're, like, drawing and, like, posting at this point. Mm-hmm. It's still good, it's just, like, not what I initially, like, I guess was in love with, so it's interesting to see how, like, that's changed.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I think I actually have a print from them.
Really?
On my wall right now. It's a Good Omens one.
Oh, right, yeah, that's a really good one. I like that one.
Yeah. Cute. Yeah, I remember it, because a lot of these artists that you liked, you introduced me to, and then I ended up following as well.
Yeah.
So, we have some overlap here, I think.
Yeah, we have some crossover.
Yeah.
I was always the one with the fan artists.
I think me too. It kind of bled. Our interests bled into each other for a while there before wildly diverging.
Yeah, I don't know what's going on.
Who knows?
Anyways.
Moving on. Let's see. Here's an artist that I really, really, really looked up to in high school. Do you know Alice Zhang?
I recognize that name, and I think if you showed me a drawing, I would know immediately who you were talking about.
She's the one who did all of those really nice kind of semi-realistic portraits of like Doctor Who characters, and so she was like the first artist that I found that did like these like realistic paintings, and I just wanted to do that so bad. So, like, that was, like half the reason that I bought a tablet for the first time was because I wanted to, like, paint like that. And I, like, was, like, super obsessed. I did this painting of Loki that's just really awful, and I hope I can find it so I can show you.
I think I remember the one you're talking about.
It's probably on my old DeviantArt account, which I will link for those who are interested, unfortunately. So
I am not divulging my DeviantArt because there are there's just some things that cannot be seen by man.
Oh, man. Yeah, there's just some stuff here that's woo.
It's not even the art.
Yep.
Like, I just, like, said some stuff that was, like, really, like, okay.
Really? I never participated in any of the... Here, I just sent it to you.
It's just, like, the comments that I'd leave on people's profiles and, like, the titles I'd give drawings. Do not want to.
Oh, man. Yeah, this was a painting that I did based off Alice Zhang's work.
This is not anything. Can you send it again as, like, a different
Yeah, I'll
link?
send just the image.
Okay, thank you.
It's just this, like, painting of Loki. I don't know.
Oh,
it's
right, I remember this.
Terrible.
I'm sorry.
That's fun. But yeah, I really wanted to, like, paint realistically and do portraits, and so I started drawing a lot of portraits and, like, trying to paint digital, and not succeeding wildly because I didn't have actually any, like, structure about how to learn. But it was still good to get into that, I think.
Yeah.
All right. Who's next for you?
This is going to be another fan art one because all of mine are, at this point in time, are just fan artists. But, no, this next one is somebody that I found on DeviantArt who did a lot of, like, comedy, like, 4-panel joke comics about video games, who went by the username Inuo. And I remember, like, the reason why I like this person so much, like, they didn't really draw in the style that I wanted to draw in so much, but I just really liked how he did, like, I guess it's, like, the comedic timing, and, like, I thought that his comics were really funny, so I was really, like, inspired by that, and I kind of wanted to do that for a while, like, make, like, stupid comics about video games. But, yeah, there's a bunch... I totally forgot about this person until I checked my DeviantArt today, actually, and I was like, oh my god, I can't not have this on my list.
God, I'm still looking through my old DeviantArt watch list to see if I can find anything new.
Yeah.
Oh god.
Yeah, no, I'm looking back at this artist now and trying to figure out why I liked him. You know, actually, to a degree, he kind of has the sort of art style that I like. It's like has elements of the kind of art style that I was interested in emulating. But it's not quite the same. But I just really enjoyed, like, the facial expressions, I think, is what it sold it for me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Let's see. I have, for my last half of high school, I have Dana Guerrieri? I'm not 100% sure how to pronounce her last name. She is a part of the reason that I wanted to come to Art Center when I was in high school, because I followed her work and I could just, I don't know, it's like something that her work shared with a lot of other people that I followed that also went to Art Center, which is just like the confidence in drawing ability, which I could kind of smell. I don't know. It's like I'd see someone and I'd be like, wow, like that drawing's like really, like the lines are super clean, the gesture's really nice, and I'd be like, and I'd find out they went to Art Center, and I'd be like, yeah, that actually doesn't surprise me anymore. It's kind of just like, oh, yep, Art Center student, and that's kind of, after that, I was like, okay, well, maybe I should start thinking about this school if I would like to go there. So, yeah, her work, it was actually super funny because when I was applying to school, I sent her a Tumblr ask about, like, what she thought about Art Center, and she had sent me this long reply about how, like, she had left school after a couple terms because it was expensive, and she felt like you didn't really need that education.
Yeah.
You didn't need to go there to get that education. So that was, like, that bummed me out a little bit, but I, ended up coming here anyway. And in my color and story class, Richard showed some of her finals from when she took that class.
Oh, nice.
I was like, damn, I haven't seen her work in ages.
Yeah. Something that I'm noticing, because I didn't really think about this while I was initially putting this list together, but something that I'm noticing from, like, this sort of stuff that I really liked in high school has to do with, like, a lot of these, like, really expressive, like, gestures and stuff, and, like, really, like, confident lines that I didn't really think about it until now that I'm looking at them.
I think when you're younger, you're more attracted to the content, and then as you get older, you become more aware of the technique.
Yeah. Like,
So.
I guess I just gravitated towards really strong, like, gestures. Like, I just sent you, like, the last artist that I talked about, like, one of his comics. I don't know why I was so attracted to, like, those, like, it's just, like, a lot of, like, straights against curves and stuff. Interesting. And lots of facial expressions. Okay.
God, I wish I'd practiced that before.
Facial expressions?
I just am so bad at it now that I'm, like, trying to do it desperately to trying to, like, figure it out so that I can, like,
I can
turn in my homework, and I'm like, oh God. Yeah, I'll send it to you afterwards. You can take a look.
Yeah, I can help, because I don't know if I'm fully believe that I'm actually good at this, but a lot of people say that they like how I draw facial expressions.
Yeah.
So
I've had my TA look at it too, and she's given me a lot of
pointers,
stuff to work on. She kind of drew over my stuff and helped me. But it's like at some point you're like, I know what's wrong with it. I just know that I, like, I haven't practiced it enough to fix it.
Yeah, it's just like it's almost like a muscle memory thing at a certain point.
Yeah.
So
it's like I can totally tell what's wrong. Like, I have more than enough taste to be able to look at it and see that something is wrong, and I can know what that is. I just, like, can't draw it yet.
Yeah.
So that's just frustrating. But,
I have one more artist on my list for high school.
Yes.
Which is Brian Lee O'Malley, who is the artist for the Scott Pilgrim comics, and the author, I guess. But I don't know. His art's just, like, cute and really expressive and nice. And the comics overall are, like, really well written and funny, so I appreciate them.
All right, do you want to move on to college?
Yeah. Sure.
All right.
Do you want to go? Because I just talked about Brian Lee O'Malley.
Yeah. Okay, I have for college year 1, I have Claire Hummel. I think I found her earlier than this, but I'm going to put her here because I think I started studying her work more in college. She was... Where did she work? She graduated RISD, and then she got hired out of school to go work at Microsoft for Xbox. So she worked... Yeah, she worked there, and she designed those twins from the BioShock Infinite game.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, and then she kind of blew up on the internet after she did this historical Disney princess series.
Yeah, I remember these.
But I really liked her work because she had super, like, really nice lines in all of her character drawings, and just like the way that she drew was just super, like, really clean. And I used to try and figure out how she did it, and I was like, I'd try and draw just to have, like, lines that were like that and, like, color them and make it look good, and it just did not work at all. And I was like, oh, what am I doing wrong? And it's just because I just didn't have the practice, like.
Yeah. No, that's, like, one of the hardest things about, like, growing up when it comes to doing art. Like, it's the sort of thing where you feel like after looking at something you should be able to, like, replicate, like, the same sort of thing, but that's not how it works at all.
Yeah,
it's very labor intensive to get to that point.
Yeah, and you only feel that harder and harder as you grow up, I think. Let's see, who's on your list for college year 1?
College year 1, I have Millionfish on here for the first one, who does a lot of different, like, fan art sort of things, but the main reason why I put them on here is because I remember back then, like, college kind of all blends together, but I have a lot on here. I just really enjoy how they use, like, color and stuff, and they do a bunch of comics, whether it be, like, you know, personal comics or, like, fan comics, and, like, all their stuff is just really, like, interesting and, like, abstract, and it's, like, just this really, like, great visual stuff, you know, like, they're really abstract, like, they have a Metal Gear Solid fan comic that's, like, super fascinating to read just because, like, it's so, like, how it's drawn and presented is so abstract, but it's still, like, completely makes sense. So I just kind of love that.
Who's second on your list?
Ikanaga Yasunari, who is, you probably recognize them, or
I think you've sent me their work before.
Yeah, he's a he's a painter who works mostly in, like, doing women's portraits. And first of all, like, the colors, like, it's kind of this muted palette that he uses, which is really nice. But the main thing that I like about his art is, like, the textures, and not even the texture, what am I thinking of? Textiles, and, like, the patterns on the clothing and the fabric that he uses, like, they're just beautiful and, like, highly detailed. And I kind of love it. I mean, there's no better explanation. I just kind of love it.
Fair.
Yeah.
All right. Let's see. You're right. College kind of all blends together. I kind of just separated them arbitrarily by year.
Yeah.
But it was kind of when I got into college that I really started learning about historical illustrators. Like,
right.
So I have Leyendecker here.
Yeah, I love Leyendecker.
Famous. He was, he and Norman Rockwell were kind of contemporaries. They did, illustrations for magazines, mostly for advertising. And I mean, Leyendecker he's just, you know, one of a kind. The dude is unmatched in how he handles, like, light, form, texture, fabric, caricature, like, just, like, everything. He's an absolute master. Everyone still does master copies off Leyendecker because there's just so much to learn from his work.
Yeah.
And yeah, a bunch of other historical artists, like I said, Norman Rockwell, and then N.C. Wyeth, and who did shoot, I'm forgetting the other one now. But yeah, it was when I got into college and I was in class and we, like, talked about these kinds of things, these artists in class, that I was exposed to them. And then you really look at their work and you can appreciate how they're done a lot better once you've kind of tried to do it yourself and learned all the principles behind it. And you can kind of spot, like, oh wow, like, that's, you know, he did value grouping here, and, like, this is how he designed shapes, like simple versus complex, all of this kind of stuff.
Yeah. Yeah, Leyendecker's
but that's
cool.
mostly stuff from school.
What do you think about Mead Schaefer?
I don't. The name is familiar, but it doesn't bring to mind any art. Can you send me a
yeah,
photo?
I'll send you some Mead Schaefer. Hold on, let me find some that I really like. He does a lot of really, like, stark lighting and, like...
Oh, yeah, yes.
Yeah.
Yes, I know who that is.
I really like Mead Schaefer.
I know, I remember because I was going to do a master copy off one of his paintings too, because I really liked his limited palette.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, he does some really fantastic stuff. Who else is I thinking of? Because now I'm just thinking of, like old masters.
Yeah.
I also really like, I have this later on my list.
Waterhouse, kind of a lot of, pre-Raphaelite painters. Mm-hmm. Oh, Howard Pyle, that's who I was thinking of.
I really like John Singer Sargent. Like, a lot.
Yeah, Sargent is still probably the best portrait artist ever.
Like, I just... I was looking at just his sketches the other day, and I was, like, losing my mind because they are beautiful.
Yeah.
You know?
I mean, like, Sargent was, and still is, a complete master of how to paint a portrait. Like, it's all of the things that you think you know, which is, like, light on form, like, how to, like, design shapes, and then all the things you, like, don't even realize until they're pointed out to you, like, how he uses, like flat shape versus, like, form, or, like, how he, I don't know, it's like every time a teacher will mention something, and it'll be something, like, super obscure and small, and they'll be like, and that's why, like, John Singer Sargent was the best portrait painter ever, because he used this, like, what? It's like, what in the world? Where did this guy learn this stuff?
I think he's just, like, a prodigy, maybe.
Yeah.
Like, these, God, I'm just looking at them now, and they're just breathtaking, you know? And, like, I really appreciated his portraits and, like, paintings in general, especially how he uses color and, like, lighting and stuff. But, I was looking, I was just amazed by how, like, even just his sketches were, like, amazing.
All right, moving on from dead people. Let's see, who else? I have on my list Carolyn Lim. I found her through this art station contest. It was like a tortoise versus hare thing, and she had these character designs that, like, I had tried to do some character designs before that for a class, and, like, I looked at her character designs and I was like, oh, that's what character designing is.
Yeah.
That's what it is, you know? It's like the silhouette. Like, I was always really confused. I was like, well, how can I make it unique silhouette while still making it look like a real, like, a person?
Yeah.
But, like, the way she handled all of that was just I, like, still going back and looking at it, it's like, how did you know to do that? Oh. Who's next for you?
Who is next for me? Oh, I have Epsi on here, who does fan art, because apparently that's all I know. And I didn't really follow this person so much for the fan art that they do, though. I mostly followed them for, like, how they have, like, this really, like, I don't want to say realistic, but, like, really, like, nice form in their art, especially when drawing people, while also maintaining, like, a unique art style. Like, it's just, like, this really nice, like, cartoony look, but it also looks, like, professional somehow. I don't know how to explain it. They're just good, you know?
Yeah.
Like, I really enjoy their style a lot, and a lot of the times I'll go back to their web pages and just, like, use it for, like, stylistic reference to figure out, like, what I should do when I'm trying to draw a certain thing.
I see you have Simon Stollenhag, who I just totally forgot about somehow.
I was thinking thinking about that time where I made a comment on his Twitter or whatever, and he said something about it sounding like I was inside of his house, which was weird.
It was the one about, like, toy cars rattling around in a drawer or something.
Yeah, like, he was just like, I just had a bunch of toy cars in a drawer, and I opened it, and they just all, like, rolled around. And I was like, no, he posted a picture, and I was like, I can hear them rolling around when he opened the drawer, and he responded.
I remember because you sent me a screenshot of this, and I was like, is that actually Simon Stollenhag?
Yeah, it was kind of weird.
Was wild to me.
No, he was one of my favorite environmental artists, though. He's just, like, really good.
Yeah, me too. I mean, oh man, he's just... It was really funny. Richard was giving this presentation on different types of lighting, like skylight, horizon light, midday light, all this. And he put up a piece that was, like, one of Simon Stollenhag's pieces, and he's like, so here's this guy who's made his entire career only painting horizon twilight. And I was like, yeah, you're not wrong. And it looks amazing.
Yeah, he's incredibly good at it and super skilled. And he's so great at, like, kind of giving you this sense of, like, I don't want to say dystopia.
It's like nostalgia in a kind of...
It's like nostalgic dystopia. And, like, cyberpunk all rolled into one. And it's such a weird vibe. It feels like it could almost be a dream in a weird way. It's really, really good stuff, though. Like, it's beyond just, like, his technical skill, which is already pretty great. It's also just, like, the content in it is so intriguing. You know, like, you want to know more about this world that these people exist in.
All right. I just put Jane Bach here because I really liked her sketchbook. She just, I don't know, it's really kind of tangential, but I bought her sketchbook recently. I'll send it to you. It's really, really, I think she's graduated from Micah recently, but she's just got these super good kind of like character sketches. The file's too big for me to send to you.
I know this artist's environmental paintings.
I'm trying to remember which environmental paintings she did.
Jane Bach is from RISD. Sorry for telling you that you're wrong.
Oh, yeah. Wait, oh my god, I didn't.
Yeah, these.
Oh god, I didn't
even connect them together.
I didn't even know she did these. I mostly just really liked hers because I found her through these sketches of astronauts that she did that I really loved. And yeah, I think she's working on... I think she's working in Cartoon Network right now, or I think she did something.
Yeah,
she's working in TV animation.
An artist that I think a lot of people would like be confused as to why I'm putting it on here. But I really like the artist for the manga Mob Psycho 100. You know, he's considered to be like a bad artist, you know, because he's like he doesn't have any
really
like professional training, and so it's just this guy like drawing like however he thinks. But I kind of love it because it has this level of like expression and like raw emotion that you cannot get. You cannot get like cute. This sort of like there's a very specific feeling and like energy that comes off of it that I think is amazing, even though it's not typically considered to be good. Like it's just like there's this sense of comedic timing in them too, which is I don't think even if it was like redrawn, I don't think that it could ever like capture like the exact feeling that these pieces of art like exude. I don't know. Yeah,
I know
it's like how
mean.
like people love Tales Gets Trolled, you know, where it's like
it's just a very specific emotion.
I think that that's so admirable, and I know that I'll never be able to like, you know, understand how to draw that ever again. Because it's the sort of thing that you do when you don't actually have training. And it's just kind of magical. And I admire these artists for, like, what they're capable of by their lack of training. I don't know. Yeah.
I know what you mean. I feel. Next on my list is ton of Magic the Gathering artists because I got into Magic, like, 2 years ago, a year and a half ago, and the art in Magic cards is like it's just amazing. Like there's no other way to put it. I bought some of the Magic art books, which is just they take kind of the best of a certain set and they kind of compile all the artwork really high res and really nice into this one book that's like only like $20, which is astounding considering how much work is in it and how awesome the collection is. So one of the artists that I really look up to now and kind of have been trying to learn from a lot is Noah Bradley.
I don't know this artist.
Do you know him?
I'm looking him up right now.
He did a lot of Magic art, but he mostly does kind of environmental stuff, kind of like fantasy environmental work. He paints really well.
Yeah, I like this one. I'll send you the one that I like.
And it's like he doesn't do characters that much, and it just makes me feel like maybe I have a chance.
I mean, character isn't the only thing. You'll be fine.
Yeah, that's what I mean. It's like usually a lot of the stuff I like is character art, but I honestly think I'm much better at painting environmental stuff, and so I kind of just like...
Yeah, these are fantastic.
Yeah, isn't that amazing? The way he works with landscape, just like light and stuff.
Paints just, too.
He's great. So...
It's not digital, huh?
No, these are digital.
Okay. Because I see a picture of him actually painting
wild?
With, like, oils.
I think he does actually paint, but I think most of his work, especially the work that he does for clients...
Okay, yeah, that makes more sense. I was like, hold
stuff.
on.
Because
I was a little confused for a second.
Yeah, he also was the one who started... He started this program that's just called Art Camp, which is just... Yeah, he like recorded a bunch of videos that are tutorials on just everything, I think, and he sells them online because he didn't go to art school, like proper art school, and so it's kind of his mission to like make sure that people realize that you don't have to go to art school in order to become a good artist.
You don't have to go to art school to have a good education in art.
Just because... Yeah, it's because art school is so expensive now, and he doesn't... It's, like, part of his, like, mission. So, yeah, he's awesome. I think me and a friend were gonna buy one of the art camps and do it together over the summer.
That sounds fun.
Just for fun. Yeah. And sometimes it's really good to brush up on your fundamentals, so... Yeah, we might do that. Alright, who's next for you?
The next artist on my list goes by the name Boneface, who does a bunch of art for a favorite band of mine called Queens of the Stone Age. This is an illustrator who does lots of drawing for, I guess, musical artists in general. I've seen some art that he's done for, like, Daft Punk and who knows who else. But I know this artist through the work that I've seen of theirs that is on, like, Queens of the Stone Age's, like, last 2 albums, and, like, the singles that they've put out, like, all of the drawings on their albums basically have been his art for the past couple years. And he does, like, a bunch of promotional artwork, and it's just, like, all this really fantastic stuff. Yeah, he's cool. Okay, so I only have 2 more on here, which is Tatsuyuki Tanaka, who did a lot of artwork. For some reason, almost all the artwork that he's done were, like, concept art for video games that never got finished or never came to the US, which is upsetting because his artwork is, like, amazing. And I also have Ron Hicks on here, who is a painter.
I've never heard of him.
You'd probably like
what
his
kind
games.
of work does he do?
It's mostly like portraiture. So it's just like he's just really good. He's just good.
That's really nice. Oh, that's wild.
Yeah.
Okay, let me run through the rest of my list. I have 2 more magic artists, Carla Ortiz and Cynthia Shepard. They're both really amazing painters. They do... I don't know, I think I've more recently been paying attention to composition, like, not just, like, how someone draws a character or how they do, like, how their technique is, but how they compose in, like, finished illustrations, and I think Carla Ortiz and Cynthia Shepard are both really amazing at that. And then I have 2 art center grads that I've been looking at recently because their work is kind of related to what I'm doing right now in class. Arthur Tang graduated our sophomore year, so he graduated a year ago, and his work is pretty amazing. The work that I just sent you is the work from the class that I'm taking right now, which is Color and Story. And I remember seeing this grad wall.
Oh, these are great.
Yeah, wait, if you scroll down, look at that one on the left. That's like a vertical 5-point through a chandelier. Like, my God, who does that?
It's kind of awesome.
Yeah.
I love it. That's great.
So I've been looking at a lot of his work just because it's kind of exactly what we're doing in class right now, and his work is just really, like, not just like, it's loose, you know? He paints kind of loose, but the way he uses color and how he can do, like, just use visual storytelling in the most compelling way is just pretty amazing. So, and one last one, Yiwon Park. She's a artist who graduated Art Center a couple years ago and then got hired by Blizzard to work on this project that they called Overwatch, which nobody had heard of at the time. And I think she's still at Blizzard, but yeah, I've been looking at her character art because I've been trying to learn from it so that I can work on my characters for color and story. Yeah. So I think that's the final list.
So I'm just looking at this artist now.
Yiwon Park or Arthur Tay?
Yeah, Yiwon Park. I was looking at them both, but I'm looking at Yiwon Park now.
Yeah. She's like in this book that I bought recently. I think it's called Sketching from the Imagination, but it's just it's just a compilation of a bunch of artists, and they put all their work together into one book, and it's just really, really cool. I think that's everything for this section. Is there anything that you wanted to add?
Not particularly.
All right.
Yeah.
I think we'll skip the one cool thing this week since
this was just a collection of cool things.
Yeah, just a collection of cool people. Yeah. Let's see. If you have questions, comments, or concerns, you can email us at negspacepodcast@gmail.com. You can find the show notes, which is going to have links to all of the artists and how to spell their names on samanthashay.com/negative-space. And yeah, I think that's everything. I hope you all have a good night.
I do not hope that you all have a good night.
Wow. God, Simone.